Welcome back to Freshly Charged, where I have an e-bike that has not been sold direct to consumer until now. Introducing the AIMA Big Sur. And supposedly this is one of the best e-bikes out there, but I'm gonna be the one to judge that. It's a 26 by 4-inch fat tire e-bike. Goes up to 28 miles per hour, so it's a class 3 e-bike. Supposedly it has one of the best geometries in the game, has some of the coolest features, and we're gonna go ahead and test that out. But before that, let's go ahead and go with a quick walkthrough. So starting out with the cockpit, on both sides we have tetra-hydraulic brake levers, 8-speed Shimano thumb and trigger shifter. In the center we have this beautiful Buffang display. It's a TFT LCD display, really crisp and easy to read in direct sunlight. And the GoPro typically does not do a good job of showing the display, so since it's so bright, it just shows you how crisp it is. On the bottom of the display is a USB-A charge port. On the left side you have the control module where you can go up and down to the pedal assist levels. There's 5 pedal assist levels with speeds up to 28 miles per hour. Thumb throttle. On both sides we have these handlebar grips that don't twist, they lock on both sides, and has a little wing grip for comfort. Moving to the front, you have some really clean cable wrap. And then one neat feature that I like about the Buffang system is how these actually plug into each other. So a lot of times they actually just have round connectors. These can only be connected in one direction, so you don't have to worry about bending pins. Coming down the front, you have an oversized front light. Right behind the light is coil suspension with 80 millimeters of travel with adjustable preload and lockout. Reflector, big plastic fender, 26 by 4-inch puncture-resistant tire with brown walls and reflective strip, 203 millimeter brake disc with 2-piston tetra-hydraulic brakes. Moving to the center, we have a 48-volt 15 amp hour battery, so 720 watt hours. Comes with quality LG M50 LT 21700 cells, the same ones that are used for Teslas. So pulling out the battery is pretty simple. You just twist this lock, it unlocks, and then drops out. There's this extra button right here which makes it nice so you don't have to worry about dropping it out and having your hand there. The whole system is UL rated, which gives you peace of mind that you don't have to worry about lithium fires. One thing I love about this is there's plenty of space to put the battery back in, easily snaps back in. Coming down to the crankset, you have 170 millimeters with 52 teeth chainring, a chain guard, which is just a little bit of a sticker, but that will help protect that from slapping around. Shimano Altus derailleur with an 8-speed 11 by 34 tooth cassette. There's a 750 watt motor which gives you a top speed of 28 miles per hour. I'm not sure what the peak is because that's not listed, but I do know that the display shows us the wattage output, and we're gonna show you exactly the max watt that I see on the display while I'm doing the test ride. One thing you will notice is it does say medium size, but overall I do know that they're moving away from the sizes. They're just gonna move forward by selling a medium sized bike, and if you're taller, they're gonna sell it with a longer seat post. Look at this big oversized seat, and this is custom developed for AIMA. This is one of the biggest seats that I've actually seen on an e-bike. It's nice and cushy and pleasant on your rear. Behind that you have an MIK HD rear rack. It's got a 27 kilogram weight capacity, which is just right under 60 pounds. Built into the rack is also a rear taillight that works as a brake light, a plastic fender, and a rear reflector. Another 26 by 4-inch puncture-resistant tire with a 203 millimeter brake disc with 2-piston tetra-hydraulic brakes. A quick release for the motor cable so that you can actually do easy tire changes. Oversized kickstand, and this has a torque sensor on it, which is one of our favorite things out there. This is based off of how much pressure you put into the pedals, not based off of how many revolutions that the wheel goes around. What we find with torque sensors is like having superhuman powers, but very much like riding a traditional bike. But with the cadence sensor, you're gonna find that you have this runoff and it's not as sensitive. And that's a quick walkthrough of the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing freshly charged, take it out for a spin, tell you what I love about it, what could be improved, and who should buy the AIMA Big Sur. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start out and see if I can hit the 28 mile per hour top speed. So let's go, 21, 22.8, 25.8, 26.4. Oh, it's having a little bit of trouble. I'm gonna downshift a little bit. 27.6, 27.8. Oh, 28. And that's only generating 500 watts of power with 679. This bike is ultra smooth. I do love that torque sensor. You're not gonna get up to speed as quickly as a cadence sensor, but this thing is still pretty quick. So I wanna see what the peak output is on this bike. So 1154, 1199. 1218. So once it gets going though, you're not going to be able to see that peak wattage. So I saw 1218. So I'd say this is probably like a 1300 peak watt output for the motor. It's not really a carving machine because of the off-road treading on the tires. You do get a little bit railroad tracked on there where it gets locked into the treading because the treading is not off-centered. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. It just kind of runs straight. So when you get into those grooves, you'll find that you kind of get stuck in those grooves. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna actually take it on a little bit off-roading and then show you on a hill test if it can climb a pretty steep hill. All right, off-road trails. This feels nice. A little bumpy, but it feels nice on the bike. The rear does bounce around a little bit because it's a hardtail, so I can feel my butt kind of going up and down and bouncing off of the seat, but luckily the seat is nice and comfy. But let's see how it climbs this hill right now. Hill climb test 1. Can this climb up it? Ooh, it's getting a little bit throttled down. Let's see. Wow. Okay, at a standstill, not quite climbing up that hill, but we got 3/4 of the way up it. Let me try going with a little bit of speed and seeing if that fixes the issue. Hill climbing on a steep hill, not the best from a standstill, but let's see if I have a little bit of a rolling start. Let's get a little bit of rolling start, come into it with like 15 miles per hour. Can I climb this hill? Oh yeah, it's climbing, oh. Whew, barely. The hill climbing ability on this bike isn't the greatest, but not typical of most of these fat tire e-bikes. I don't know of one that's gonna climb that hill with ease. Phew. These tires do feel nice on this loose gravel. So there's a little good jump here. We'll see how well it does. Hopefully I don't get wrecked. Woo! That felt pretty good. Let's try it off this other little jump right here. Woo! Front suspension is not too bad. It does bottom out every once in a while, so it's coil suspension. I do prefer hydraulic suspension, but these big fat tire e-bikes, they're not really made for technical stuff. They're made for light off-roading. I do like that you can adjust the angle of the display easily. So a lot of these are actually bolted in one particular spot, but this is nice. I can just adjust it on the fly. Next test I'm gonna do is ride straight across the grass. A lot of times you'll find with grass is that the bikes get a little bit throttled on it because of the resistance. Still cruising 19 miles per hour through this grass. There is a little bit of, it isn't going as quickly as it is on pavement, but for being on grass, it's doing pretty well. And that felt awesome, actually. One thing I noticed is there's no official IPX water resistance rating on this bike. So following up on why supposedly this is one of the best e-bikes out there, my good friend Mitch, who's from the channel Innovation and also runs PowerOn e-bikes in Houston, they offer the largest selection of e-bikes in the state of Texas, and he says that this is by far people's favorite bike once they jump on it. So they tried this bike out, they tried like the Venton Adventure, the Mach Wheel Basalt, and they find that this bike rides the best, and so they sell a lot of these. He also said that the packaging is really good, and they never really run into issues with packaging when they ship the bike. So that's one thing that Jimmy did do the unboxing of this, and he was very impressed. A lot of this bike was assembled, but overall what he says that people love is the way this torque sensor operates. Even though the Mach Wheel Basalt is a torque sensor, the Venton Adventure, he says something about the Buffang whole system, from the battery, the controller, the display, the throttle, everything is Buffang, and he feels like it makes it a much smoother torque sensor adjustment. I'm very impressed with the geometry of this e-bike. Super smooth, easy to ride no-handed, and the torque sensor makes it all the better, especially with no-handed riding, because with the torque sensor, it's very smooth and based off of the pressure of my pedaling. One cool thing is you can tap into higher speeds if you go to your local dealer and have them unlock it for you. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this bike. Let's test it out on pedal assist 1. A lot of these bikes don't let you go very slow in pedal assist 1. This I can maintain a really solid 7 mile/hour speed with the torque sensor. It doesn't feel too jerky, it doesn't feel overpowered. So I'm showing you what this bike looks like to ride with no pedal assist levels on. Right now I'm just in gear 1, pedal assist 0, and this feels great. It does feel heavy. It's an 82-pound bike, so it's no slouch on the weight, but overall I can ride this perfectly fine. I have zero issues with getting it up to speed. Let's see how fast I can get it going with no pedal assist levels on. So I'm up to 12 miles per hour, 14.2, 15. Yeah, I'm at 17 miles per hour, no problems at all. So if you run out of battery with this e-bike, you're not gonna have an issue getting home. So I'm gonna ride around a little bit more. At my next stop, I'm gonna tell you what I love about the AIMA Big Sur. So let's go ahead and get started with what I love about this bike. It is a very sleek looking bike. Some e-bikes have really crappy paint jobs. This one looks nice and sleek with that matte black. The weld marks on here are non-existent. Very clean up here, super clean down here. I don't see one weld mark on here, except for right here. I see a little bit weld marks where it holds that rear fender in place. I also love the way that this rides. The geometry on the bike is ultra nice. Feels like a regular bike. So when you have pedal assist off, the bike rides perfectly fine. Yes, it's heavy. It's an 82-pound bike, so you're gonna feel a little bit of that weight behind it. But overall, when you're pedaling it, it feels like a traditional bicycle, which once you add the electric pedal assist to it, it rides great. This feels ultra smooth and nice coming off of curb drops and any type of small jump. The Big Sur, when I'm taking tight turns, I haven't had my pedals clipped. On a lot of the 26x4-inch tires, the pedals are so low that when you take tight turns, you'll end up clipping them and it creates a dangerous situation. I do love the display. Lots of displays get washed out in direct sunlight. This one, as you can see from the first-person view, very easy to read. It's great that it comes with the Shimano Altus derailleur. A lot of e-bikes come with the Shimano tourney derailleur, which is kind of garbage. Yes, they're dependable, but they just look cheap and they don't operate as smooth as a Shimano Altus derailleur. It comes with the same battery cells that they use in Teslas, the LG M50 LT battery cells that are 21700, really high quality battery cells, and it's UL rated so you don't have to worry about fire safety. It's got a nice big oversized 52 tooth chain ring paired with that torque sensor, so it's easy to get up to speed. Some torque sensors can feel a little bit slow because they have a smaller chain ring, so I do like that this has a bigger one. The quick disconnect on the rear motor cable makes it easy for tire changes. Some of these bikes that don't have that quick disconnect can be so painful because you actually have to do the tire change with the motor cable attached, or go all the way back to the controller and disconnect it. And then speaking about the controller, it's very easy to access. So if you ever have any issues with the controller, instead of trying to fish a bunch of wires through, you have this quick access panel right next to the torque sensor, so you can quickly swap out the controller if you ever have a warranty issue. Speaking about warranty issues, what we're finding is if there's a dealer in your area that doesn't carry a specific e-bike, they actually won't work on it due to liability purposes. Nice thing about this is this has been primarily sold through local dealers, so there's a lot of local dealers that will work on your bike. I already mentioned the display being nice and crisp in direct sunlight. With the Buffang display, you can easily pivot it depending on if you're riding seated or standing up. The cockpit also looks very sleek. I love the way these buttons look, along with the nice cable wrap. I do love that it comes with an MIK HD rear rack, and it also came with straps. I forgot to bring the straps with me, but it's nice because you can attach it very easily to the rack, and there's tons of accessories that are compatible with the MIK HD rear rack. You have these little pannier holders, so it comes complete. Wish there's a little bit of higher weight capacity in there, but overall, as long as you're not hauling a person, this should be able to haul most of your stuff with you. Tektro hydraulic brakes are some of my favorite e-bike brakes. They work well, and it's paired with oversized 203mm brake discs. And then who can complain about a nice comfy seat? I don't have the biggest plush bum. My butt does tend to hurt when I ride on a lot of the e-bikes because they're hard seats and they're kind of small. This is nice, big, oversized, and soft. The packaging on the bike was excellent. No damage at all came from shipping, and my friend at PowerOn e-bikes who supplied this bike to us said that he's never had a bike return for damage upon shipping. You are going to be riding this bike a lot on the road, so it's nice that it has a loud, high-pitched electric horn. So let's go ahead and talk about what could be improved on the Big Sur. Number one for me is that front light is pretty much garbage. Looks nice and big, but the beam is so narrow. It's got one LED and it needs more LEDs to create a brighter spread. They also make it narrow, so it's not a very high or low beam. The other thing I'm not a big fan of is this display has zero memory. So whenever this thing powers off and I go to power back on, I ride in pedal assist 3 or higher. I don't really like low pedal assist levels. This always starts in pedal assist 0. So I wish that this could actually remember what pedal assist level that I was last in instead of me having to crank it up every single time it powers on and off. The price point is a little bit high compared to some of the other 26x4-inch fat tire e-bikes, but you do get a pretty nice bike. This is one of the nicer bikes. The geometry, the torque sensor, it does feel unique, so I do see why people are paying a premium for it because the ride feel feels so great. The torque sensor is very nice on this bike. I prefer it over a cadence sensor. Sometimes you want to work out, and that's why a torque sensor is really nice. It gives you that workout feeling because it's based off of the pressure you put into the pedals. The coil suspension in the front is similar to what we see on a lot of fat tire e-bikes. It's a 80mm of travel, but it does tend to bottom out sometimes. So just understand that this bike isn't made for technical off-road trails. Light off-road trails, it's going to work perfectly fine, but if you're taking this on some gnarly single track, you really want some type of air suspension or hydraulic suspension. So I love the big oversized saddle, but you do get bounced around a lot. So when you hit bumps, there's so much surface area that I start bouncing around a lot because it's so big. I would have liked that this came with suspension seat posts. Those are the things I'm not a big fan of on the bike. As I ride, I'm gonna tell you who I think the AIMA Big Sur is for. It's a very stable e-bike. I'm riding no-handed. I love this bike. The geometry is by far one of the best e-bikes that I've actually ridden. Feels like a normal bike, doesn't feel clunky, has an excellent torque sensor, has high quality battery cells, paint job and weld job looks great. So if you're looking for one of the highest quality fat tire e-bikes that's backed by a local dealer network so you can easily get this repaired, you'll definitely want to check out the AIMA Big Sur. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our full review at freshlycharged.com. And when you ride, make sure you wear your safety gear.